Beloved, a quiet alarm must sound at the threshold of this hour. Don't say, I am yet. Don't take the holy name on the lips of a human wanting. Don't use it as a lever, a ladder, a password. And God said unto Moses, I am that I am. Do you see that? That is not a human utterance. That is the one speaking its own name within, its own dwelling. And we, until we hear that voice within the sanctuary, are to be still. Be still and know that I am God. Not be busy, not be clever. Be still. Time means nothing, but your peace does. You have been told in 100 books that to say I am strong, I am rich, I am healed is to improve your condition. I tell you, it may only improve your dream. Affirmation loops may strengthen the most dangerous illusion of all, that there is a separate self here, polishing its halo, gathering powers, reaching up to God. Do you see that? It is Babel with spiritual paint. It is the human mind hiring the holy name to do its errand. Don't try to do something. Don't try to change something. Sit until you can hear who says it, then watch. The name is not a device. It is a voice. The name is not your signature under a petition. It is the autograph of the eternal upon its own appearing. When the presence speaks, I am, the earth is silent, and the fig tree withers of unreality. When the presence speaks, I am, you do not repair a condition. You watch a false picture dissolve because reality stands revealed. Healing is not repair. It is recognition. The Lord is my shepherd. I shall not want. Present is. There is no future tense in truth. Do you see that? Therefore, we begin by withholding, not from you, but from the sense of you that would trade in words as charms. We will not grant the phrase to that. We will wait for the inner click, that soft authority of Emmanuel, God with us. You know it, not drama, not excitement, just the quiet is that settles the room without your help. When that breathes, the words may or may not be spoken, but the work is already done. Except the Lord build the house, they labor in vain that build it. How many houses of affirmation have you built only to feel the wind in the night? Do you see that? This hour is mercy as much as urgency. I will not rush you into magic. I will not hand you matches in a dry forest. Time means nothing, 5 days or 5 years, but your peace does. Your peace now. Sit in meditation until you feel that presence. If it is 5 minutes, good. If it is 50, better. If it is 5 months, best. Never give up. Never give up. God is. God is. Is. And when that dawns, the tongue may follow without danger. We are not here to add holiness to humanhood. We are here to witness God as and God is. As is the secret of identity, is the secret of presence. But hold, not yet. Don't try to be holy. Don't try to be healed. Let holiness be, and let healing appear as revelation. Do you see that? When at last the inner voice utters its own name, it will not be you saying a phrase. It will be the one announcing itself as you. And then, beloved, then you may say, I am not as technique, but as transparency. Until that click hush, God is. Now let us listen again at the bush that burned and was not consumed. And God said unto Moses, I am that I am. Do you hear that? Not Moses boasting. Not a man finding a brave tone. The Holy One announcing himself within his own fire. That is not a phrase. It is presence speaking its name. And every effectiveness in our life begins when that same self-utterance is heard in the sanctuary of our own being, not as sound produced by lips, but as life proclaiming itself where you are. Be still and know that I am God. Not be busy with words. Be still to hear the voice that is being itself. Do you see that? There is a difference between words and the word. In the beginning was the word, not a vocabulary. My sheep hear my voice, not my syllables, not my accent. The human mind can carve any sound, even a reverent one. It can say, I am, I am, I am, until the clock is tired. But sound without source is wind on reeds. It cannot still a storm. It cannot raise a thought from death. When the one speaks, I am within, it is not noise, it is causation, it is law, it is the self-evidence of God. Do you see that? What are we after, better words or the living word? Do you see that? Now watch how the counterfeit masquerades. It takes the shape of future tense hoping and calls itself faith. I will be healed. I shall demonstrate supply next month. It is very pious. It quotes. It plans. It sets dates on God's calendar. But there is no future tense in truth. None. The Lord is my shepherd. I shall not want. Is. Beloved, now are we the sons of God. Now, before Abraham was, I am. Present is. When the voice is heard, the tense collapses into isness. The mind that was waiting for tomorrow drops its bags. It discovers that reality never left. Healing, then, is not achieved. It is recognized. The fog does not convalesce into clarity. The sun is seen. Do you see that? Therefore, here is the prohibition and the mercy. Except God be with him. Don't try them. That was Nicodemus's confession. And let it be our guard. No man can do these miracles that thou doest, except God be with him. Then do not rush to do miracles with a human sense of self. Do not take up works with a human sense of will. Do not say, I am as a man announcing himself. Sit in meditation until you feel that. Presence, time means nothing. If you require 5 minutes, take them. If you require 5 months, better. You are not delaying God. You are yielding the human sense that wants to perform. And after the fire, a still, small voice. Not in the wind, not in the earthquake, not in the noise of affirmations. In the hush, the word appears as itself. Do you see that? Let me give you a homely picture. A radio can be made to make sounds without ever catching a station. You may twist the knob, whistle through the static, thump the case, you will have noise. The program, however, is not produced by your fingers. It is received. So it is with the holy name. Affirmations are the fingers. The living word is the broadcast. When the tuner of your attention rests, when the hand comes off the dial, there is a little settling, a click, and then music that is not yours begins to play in you. Then the room softens, the air grows weightless. There is a knowing that doesn't consult you. That is the voice that said to Moses, I am that I am. That is the word that was in the beginning and is now. Do you see that? Oh, we could compose a little gilt-edged booklet of I ams, sell many copies, and go to the movies every night. Won't that be nice? But you would have a bag of charms, not the presence. We are not after magic. We are after God. God is, and in that isness the word utters itself. When you hear it, you will not be tempted to shout. You may not speak at all, or if the words come, they will be transparency, not technique. Until then, be very quiet. What are we after, better words or the living word? Choose, and then abide in is never give up. Never give up. Be still and know that I am God. Do you see that? Now let us take up this hard little idol that stands in nearly every temple of human thought. The belief that bodies, events, and calendars govern harmony. The body says, I ache. The clock says, too late. The bank book says, not enough. We bow. We bring offerings of effort. We make vows to improve the picture with better diets, better treatments, better schedules. Do you see that? We are genuflecting to appearances and naming them law. But hear the Master, judge not according to the appearance, but judge righteous judgment. What is righteous judgment? It is seeing with God's eyes. It is knowing that what seems to be out there has no authority in itself. The streetcar tracks seem to meet on the horizon, yet you cannot make them touch. The cloud seems fastened to the mountain, yet climb, and you will find no nail. There is no such thing as an externalized illusion. The illusion is within us, within our seeing. Do you see that? So then, what is healing? Not the arrangement of matter, not repair, not a sick man made well. If any man be in Christ, he is a new creature. Old things are passed away. Behold, all things are become new. Behold, see. Healing is seeing. It is the disappearance of a false picture when reality is seen. The change is not in God and not in you as God is appearing. The change is in the lens through which we were misreading the one. Think of a mirror with a smudge. You scrub the face, you powder the cheek, you tug at the hair. Nothing is corrected there because nothing was wrong there. Wipe the glass and the original shines. Do you see that? Healing is the wiping of the glass of sense. Then what stands revealed? Not a patched-up human, but the new creature Christ as you. As. This is the as secret. God as you, never two. Let me press you with a picture. A report arrives, a mass here, a break there, a date beyond which improvement is not likely. We grow sober, we count days, we prepare plans. Then in some quiet hour the presence breathes. The room softens. The fear unlatches. The word within utters itself. I am. After this, an appearance shifts. The report is different. The limb moves. The account supplies. What happened? You haven't seen a repair at all. You witnessed revelation. The fog did not become clear air. The sun appeared and nothing was added to the sun. We look not at the things which are seen, but at the things which are not seen. Do you see that? What is not seen to the senses becomes seen to the heart, and the outer semblance yields. But the mind cries, how long until this happens? Ah, there you have your idle again time. There is no future tense in truth. The sheep do not wait to be shepherded tomorrow. The Lord is my shepherd. Is now. God is. God is. Is. I am. Live in is. When we abide in is, we are not trying to tug reality into place. We are accepting the fact that reality is in place. Then the picture on the screen adjusts to the light behind the film. That is why Jesus could say at a tomb, Lazarus, come forth. And the man didn't convalesce, he came forth. The light behind the picture outshone the belief of death and days. Do you see that? Therefore, stop fixing the shadow. Stop ironing creases on the projection. Turn and face the light. Awake, thou that sleepest, and arise from the dead, and Christ shall give thee light. Wake from the dream of cause and matter, law in dates, power in symptoms. Sit until the click, and then see. You will discover that what you call disease was a false report about God as you. When it dissolves, nothing is added to you, and nothing is taken from you, only the lie vanishes. Then you will say of what appears, here is God made manifest as man. Not better flesh, presence evident, not adjusted events, Emmanuel recognized. Do you see that? Never give up. Never give up. Hold to as and is. Judge righteous judgment. And you will find that healing is simply God being seen as God. Where you once believed a problem stood, now we come to the heart of it, the as secret. Not God and man. Not heaven up there and a struggler down here. Not substance in one place and a needy form in another. God appearing as individual. And the word was made flesh and dwelt among us. Do you hear that? Not a man stuffed with holy thoughts, but God made manifest. Here is God made manifest as man. When this dawns, identity shifts at once. You cease being a collector of divinity and you stand as transparency for divinity. Do you see that? Take it slowly. Imagine a sheet of glass. By itself, it is substance. Now poured into shape, the same glass appears as a tumbler. The substance has not traveled from one world to another to enter the tumbler. Glass is appearing as tumbler. One substance, many forms, no separation. Do you see that? Or consider the sun and its beam on your floor. The beam is not a second light fighting to borrow radiance. The sun appears as beam. If you trap the beam and put it in a box, have you trapped the sun? No. You have tried to isolate what cannot be isolated. The beam has no existence independent of the sun, yet the beam is not despised. It is the very way you enjoy the light. Do you see that the substance and the form are one life? Let us make man in our image, after our likeness, not after our distance. Image means expression of the very substance. This is why the Master could say, I and my Father are one. Now permit me a little mischief to make a larger truth. I and the Father is one. The scholars will send me a note. Truth will only smile. For in oneness there is not a plurality to require agreement. Being is one. Form is the self-showing of the one. Do you see that? When you hear Christ in you, the hope of glory, do not picture a treasure locked in a trunk within you. Hear instead Christ as you, the inevitability of glory, God taking the outline of your individuality without ever ceasing to be God. Now, do not run from form. Sanctify it. We do not despise the tumbler. We drink because of it. We do not scold the sunbeam. We bask in it. The form is not a rival to substance. It is transparency for substance. If you stare at the glass as glass, you will miss the water. If you stare at the beam as beam, you will miss the sun. But if you recognize the as, the very form becomes sacrament. In him we live and move and have our being. In him, as you move, as you speak, as you embrace, the one lives his life. Do you see that? Here is the practical shift. A neighbor knocks with a troubled report. The old sense says, I will help you. I will pray and fetch God into this. The as secret says, hush, here is God appearing as this neighbor. Here is God appearing as my hearing, as my compassion, as this very meeting. Then watch. The sense of a helper and a helped begins to soften. One, life stands evident where two once argued. Harmony appears not because you imported God, but because you removed the fiction of twos. God was manifest in the flesh, manifest as, not added to. Do you see that? Take another homely picture. A lamp glows. The filament is not the power. The electricity is not far away, yet the only way you enjoy the power is as the filaments glow. So your individuality, your voice, your tenderness, your presence is not a private little battery trying very hard to imitate the divine. It is the glow of the one life. When the current is recognized, the glow is effortless. When you think you are a separate wire, you burn out. Do you see that? Beholding as in a glass the glory of the Lord, we are changed into the same image. Beholding as, we become as. The change is not from sinner to saint by moral carpentry. The change is from misidentification to revelation, from man and God to God as man. This lifts strain. This ends bargaining. This silences the reach and reveals the rest. Then when the inner click comes and a word is given, it is not a human claimant borrowing God's stamp. It is God naming himself where you are. I and the Father is one. God is appearing as you. God is as and is. Is. Do you see that? Now let us stand inside the other key is. If as ended the war of twos, is ends the war of times. The Lord is my shepherd. Not was, not will be, is. Before Abraham was, I am. Not I was, not I shall be, I am. Behold, now are we the sons of God. Do you see that? Truth never travels. Truth is. Reality does not hurry from a distant tomorrow. Reality stands where it stands, and that standing is isness. We do not coax it into being. We awaken to its always. There is no future tense in truth. Say it with me in your heart until the mind yields. God is. God is. Is. I am. Here is the mistake that keeps hope tired. Postponement masquerading as faith. I will be better. I shall prove supply next month. That sounds pious, but it is unbelief in disguise, because it quietly announces God is not here yet. Do you see that? Hope is a beautiful servant when it points to the unseen fact now. It is a cruel master when it defers the feast to a calendar. Now is the accepted time. Behold, now is the day of salvation. If salvation is a day, it is this day. If grace is aware, it is here. Treat this minute as the only minute on earth. Close the ledger of yesterday, put away the blueprint of tomorrow, and abide in is, how shall I practice this? Not by accumulating hours, like coins in a jar. Recognition now, not the arithmetic of sittings, opens the window. You cannot stack moments to purchase a sunrise. You turn and see the light that is already pouring through the curtains. Sit in meditation until you feel that presence. Yes, but know that the click when it comes is not the wage of your minutes. It is the unveiling of what was present before you sat down. Do you see that? One instant of is annihilates a century of waiting. Today, if ye will hear his voice, harden not your hearts. Today, voice is, let me give you a homely picture. You stand by the ocean speaking bravely. Tomorrow I shall be wet. Meanwhile, the tide laps at your feet. Take one step, and the fact answers you. So with God, do not plan to enter presence later. Consent now. A breath, a hush, a yielding, and the tide that was already there evidences itself upon you as peace, as clarity, as the dissolving of fear. Then a change appears on the screen. Yes, but understand, nothing future came. The present revealed itself. You haven't improved a condition. You have seen through one. Do you see that truth lives only as is? Practice it in the very press of your day. A fear leaps up. The mind begins its errands, remedies, contacts, tomorrows. Stop. One quiet word is. The Lord is my shepherd. Let it graze through you, not as charm, as recognition. God is, I am. Stay until the heartbeat of that isness is felt, not emotion, not strain, just the fact that does not ask your leave. Then move or don't, speak or don't. The harmony that follows is demonstration, not manufacture. Why? Because reality was not scheduled. It was beheld. We are not neglecting prudence. We are denying postponement. Take no anxious thought for the morrow, not because tomorrow won't arrive, but because there is no God tomorrow different from God now. The one is indivisible by hours. That is why a tomb yields to a word, a storm to a hush, a lack to a simple give ye them to eat. There is no travel time for is. Do you see that? Live inside this. Treat this minute as the only minute on earth. Here, now, the shepherd shepherds, the bread feeds, the light lightens. God is. And as you rest in that, you will find the tongue murmuring, not to get, but to reveal. God is, I am. Now hear me in the same hush. When is dawned, what appears is not a mended man, but an appearing Christ as you, not a humanhood stitched and strengthened, but the old sense dropped, the new creature witnessed. If any man be in Christ, he is a new creature. Old things are passed away. Behold, all things are become new. Behold, see, not make them new. See them as they are in the light that is. Do you see that? This is quite a different thing than convalescence. The Master does not say, lie there and improve. He says, rise, take up thy bed, and walk. And the man doesn't convalesce, he walks. Healing, then, is not a weekend of better feelings. It is the disappearance of the old identification and the visibility of what eternally is. Strive not to be a patched-up creature. Isaiah saw it and sang it. Thou shalt be called by a new name, which the mouth of the Lord shall name, not an improved Adam with cleaner habits, a new name, Christ, Son, Heir, Beloved. To them that received him, to them gave he power to become the sons of God. What is that power? Not moral steam, not mental effort. It is recognition. God as you, and God is. The one names himself where you, and when that new name is breathed in you, it is not a nickname pinned on a sinner. It is the unveiling of identity that never fell, never lacked, never aged. Behold, I make all things new, not later behold. Do you see that what appears new is what always is? Let me put the knife gently where the ache hides. We love to measure progress. I am 70% free of fear. I am nearly healed. We pass little report cards to ourselves and we think God will be impressed. That belongs to the dream. That belongs to time. There is no future tense in truth. Put down the ruler. Step off the scale. We are not appraising a patient. We are witnessing an appearing. The new creature is not a graduate. He is a revelation. The sun does not become the sun because you look twice. It is the sun. And in the instant the fog thins, the landscape is there in its wholeness. Do you see that? Consider a homely case. A man came wearied by an old addiction. He had repented, relapsed, repented again, a busy pendulum. He asked for techniques, steps, strategies. We sat, no counsel, no scolding, only that long, unhurried is. The click came hardly larger than a breath. It was not excitement. It was presence. Afterward he rose and said, with surprise more than pride, it's gone. Now, hear this rightly. Nothing was removed from God as him, something that had never been there except as belief lost its sponsor. He didn't graduate from vice to virtue. He awakened from a name that was never his to the name the Lord names. You haven't seen a repair at all. You witnessed the new creature, Christ. Do you see that? Beloved, now are we the sons of God. Now, and it doth not yet appear what we shall be. To sense it may not, but to spirit it is never in suspense. Therefore strive not to be a patched-up creature. Stop bargaining to keep a little of the old and a little of the new. Put off the old man with his deeds, not by labor, but by seeing he is a costume without a wearer. Put on the new man, which after God is created in righteousness and true holiness. How? Not by adding holiness to humanhood, but by yielding humanhood to holiness, by consenting to be transparency. God is you. God is, in that recognition, the speech, the walk, the very face alter, not a facelift, an unveiling. What of habits? aches, histories. Treat them as you would mist before sun. Do not scold the mist. Do not push the sun. Turn face is, face as. Sit in meditation until you feel that presence. Time means nothing. When the click comes, let it do the speaking. You may hear yourself say, I am, but it will not be a man borrowing God. It will be God naming himself. Then watch the record of yesterday loosens. The appetite that claimed you fades as a tale that seemed true in the dark. And you will find this refrain steadying your step. Strive not to be a patched-up creature. Do you see that what appears new is what always is? So we go on with relieved assurance. We are not perfecting the creature of dust. We are beholding the one who never was dust, not patched up present, not improved revealed. God is, God as, is, I am. Never give up, never give up. Stand in the new name and let the old fall away like a husk that never held a grain. Now we stand at the gate of permission and power, which I call the inner click of Emmanuel. Emmanuel, God with us. Do you see that? Not God nearby, not God to be summoned, God with us. And this click is not a noise, it is a felt, effortless awareness, presence recognized, not produced. It is the moment when the Father that dwelleth in me moves from doctrine to immediacy. The Father that dwelleth in me, he doeth the works. Then you dare not move until that is so. My sheep hear my voice. Not every sound in the pasture, not every bleat of human thought, the voice. When it is heard, action is authorized. When it is not, wait. What is the click like? Not fireworks, though sometimes joy bubbles. Not a surge of personal confidence that is only the old costume borrowing new buttons. The click is a hush, a quickening, a soft certainty. It is as if the room discovers its stillness without being told, and your breath belongs to a larger rhythm. Elijah called it a still small voice. After the wind, the earthquake, and the fire were exhausted. Isaiah named its effect. In quietness and in confidence shall be your strength. There is no strain in it. It does not argue or bargain. It is, simply is. God is. God is. I am. Do you see that? Here is the protocol, and I must put it strongly for your safety and your fruitfulness. Sit in meditation until you feel that presence. Time means nothing. 5 minutes, 5 days, 5 years do not count, do not compare. You are not earning it, you are consenting to it. Be still and know that I am God. And if you are tempted to rush out and fix, remember Nicodemus's guardrail. No man can do these miracles except God be with him. Except God be with him, don't try them. The Master himself commanded a holy delay. Tarry ye in the city of Jerusalem until ye be endued with power from on high. Tarry. Wait until. Permission precedes power. Power follows presence. Not by might nor by power, but by my spirit, saith the Lord of hosts. Do you see that? How will you know to move? The silence will speak, not with syllables necessarily, but with a weightless rightness. The inner shoulders that had been hunched drop. The mind's claws release their hold, and there is a clean line of sight, no haze. Sometimes a word forms as simple as go, or call, or hush. Sometimes no word at all, only the fact that does not ask your consent. Then action is not your act, it is transparency for the act. I can of mine own self do nothing. When you move from that click, the doing is done. When you move without it, you are doing the work of two, and there are not two. Do you see that authority flows from presence, not from phrases? Set guardrails. If strain appears, pause. Strain is the sound of a separate self trying to pry open a door that only presence unlocks. When you feel effort, rise, persuasion, pressure, performance, stop in your tracks, return to is one breath. The Lord is my shepherd. Let the rushing cease. Do not try to drag the click into being with louder prayers or nicer sentences. Do not feed the anxiety with spiritual snacks. Sit in the unadorned truth. God is. If the key will not turn, do not bend it, do not kick the lock. Wait until the tumblers of thought line up and you hear that almost inaudible permission, the little click that opens worlds. Take a homely case. The phone rings. There is need. The old habit leaps advice, promises, appointments, remedies. Instead, lay the receiver down for a breath and attend. Speak, Lord, for thy servant heareth. Listen. If the click comes, perhaps one sentence will be given or a silence that heals more than paragraphs. If the click does not come, say gently, I will be in touch, and return to stillness. That is not neglect. That is obedience. You are not withholding help. You are refusing to counterfeit it. Later, the click sounds, and what you are to be and do comes into view with an ease that embarrasses pride. Then outward harmony appears as revelation, not repair, because it flowed from as and is, not from a fixer's toolkit. Do you see that? Make this your inward check before every work, every word, every ministry, even the smallest. Has Emmanuel clicked within? If yes, move as wind that knows its source. If no, tarry in Jerusalem. Wait on the Lord. Be of good courage, and he shall strengthen thine heart. Wait, I say, on the Lord. Courage to wait is greater than bravado to perform. Never give up. Never give up. Time means nothing. The presence is not coming, it is here. The click is your recognition of here. From that realized presence, I am may be spoken without danger, because it is no longer a human announcement, but God naming himself where you are. God is, God as, is. I am. Do you see that? Now, let me put this where you live, for it will not help you to admire principles and then walk away with the same old toolbox. Affirmations on the lips of a separate self become loops, circles, inside circles until your very piety makes you dizzy. The difference is not in vocabulary, it is in authorization. Without the click, I am, on your tongue is a man trying to hire God. With the click, I am, is God naming himself where you are. Do you see that? Take anxiety. The chest is tight, the breath shallow, the mind busy composing rescue plans. The habit speaks, I am calm, and with every repetition the knot tightens, because a little undertow whispers, I am not, I must become. You have made a task out of peace and hired a foreman to shout the schedule. Now turn, sit, 1 minute, 30 on a seconds. If that is all the grace you will allow yourself, be still and know that I am God. Not I am calm, not even I will be calm. I am God. Let that isness graze through you. The Lord is my shepherd. Is. Peace, be still. Hush. Wait for the click. It comes like a feather, not a hammer. And now notice, there is ease without an owner. The knot has no landlord. You do not feel like a calm person. You feel like no person trying to be anything at all. God is. Do you see that the result rides on recognition, not repetition? Take resentment. The face rises before you. The rehearsal begins. Each line of accusation is polished. You post a guard over the mouth to keep the venom in and instruct yourself, I am forgiving, and it argues in circles with the injury. You have put a new label on the same courtroom. Now turn. Sit. Agree with thine adversary quickly, whiles thou art in the way with him, not by conceding lies, but by ceasing to be the plaintiff. Wait in Emmanuel, Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. Let the voice that says, I am that I am, be heard, not as a quotation, but as present utterance. The click comes a hush, within which the accuser's self cannot stand. The courtroom is gone. There is no plaintiff, no defendant, only one life showing forth. And then, without effort, you discover that nothing is left to forgive. The very one you called offender was your own picture in a crooked glass. As it clears, what remains? God as this one, the same light, in a different outline. Do you see that the harm was in the sense of twos, and forgiveness appears when two-ness dissolves in as and is? Take scarcity. The ledger is stern, the due date louder than prayer. You build a scaffold of words. I am abundant. And then you check the mailbox twice an hour. You feel the strain of a brave sentence dragging a reluctant world. That is postponement, wearing jewelry. Now turn, sit, take no thought for your life, not as negligence, but as obedience to is. Seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things shall be added unto you. Seek the kingdom where? Here. When the click comes, there is a curious, quiet hilarity, as if the room had just remembered its windows. And then what? Supply appears not as a magic pile of coins, but as right place, right time, right form. An idea you had overlooked, an adjustment in your outgo that feels like freedom, not frugality, a phone call that places you where you belong. Sometimes, yes, a check, sometimes a door, sometimes a release from wanting the thing you thought you needed to have in order to be safe. Won't that be nice? Oh, I can go to the movies every night, and we laugh, and then we listen deeper. For the abundance is not entertainment, it is isness shining as sufficiency. You haven't willed anything into being, you have stopped insisting there was a vacuum to fill. My grace is sufficient for thee. Sufficient now. Interpret it rightly. These are not victories of human will. You have not succeeded. You have ceased being the one who could fail. The sense of a separate doer dissolves at the sound of the voice, and in that dissolving, life evidences harmony. I can of mine own self do nothing. After the click, perhaps one call is made, one apology offered, one appointment kept or canceled, but it is not a performer choosing a tactic. It is transparency for the act. Do you see that the result rides on recognition, not repetition? Now I must speak to the earnest ones, the serious students. This is a way for you. It asks patience before proof, proof before proclamation. Do not run out and teach a town with an unclicked tongue. Tarry in Jerusalem until ye be endued with power from on high. Sit in meditation until you feel that presence. Time means nothing. If in a case the click does not come, be honest and still. Do not manufacture sentences to keep up appearances. When it comes, move as wind that knows its source. Never give up. Never give up. You are not a fixer. You are a transparency. You are not shouting, I am, to make something happen. You are consenting to, I am, happening as you. Then anxiety has no owner. Resentment has no courtroom. Lack has no stage. God is I am. Do you see that? Now let us open the book, not as a scrapbook of miracles long gone, but as a living microphone for the voice that even now says, I am. Scripture is not history to admire. It is instruction to practice. Read, then translate at once into now. Do you see how text becomes a doorway when read as now? Except a man be born again, he cannot see the kingdom of God. Nicodemus asks, how can a man be born when he is old? And the master answers, that which is born of the flesh is flesh, and that which is born of the Spirit is spirit. The wind bloweth where it listeth, so is every one that is born of the Spirit. Hear it as present. New birth is new seeing, not new flesh. Do not climb back into the womb of time. Drop out of time into is. Stop trying to reform the old man. Watch the old man vanish as light dawns. The wind of spirit is not your laboring breath. It is that inner click, the hush that moves without push. In a case, do not strain to believe. Let the wind blow. Tarry in Jerusalem until you feel the breath move your sails. Then perception changes, and with it the picture. You haven't repaired a life. You have seen life as it is. Do you see that? I am the bread of life, says the Christ. He that cometh to me shall never hunger, and he that believeth on me shall never thirst. Labor not for the meat which perisheth. Read it now. Substance is spirit. Form appears as needed. Bread of life, the meat of life, the wine of life, one substance, many appearances. God is the substance. Your pantry, your employment, your wisdom in the marketplace are the forms God appearing as. When the mind screams for loaves, you turn within and wait until the click settles the hunger at its root. Then watch. Perhaps a door opens, a right idea is recognized, an appetite itself falls quiet. Substance has answered substance. Not postponement, not imagining a tomorrow's feast now. There is no future tense in truth. Give us this day our daily bread. This day. Do you see that? The Lord is my shepherd. I shall not want. Not a verse for funerals. Only practice it as guidance now. Let it graze through the mind until the heart softens and the shoulders drop. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside the still waters. This is not a topographical promise. It is a present governance. The green pastures are states of rest. The still waters are the hush inside your very chest when Emmanuel clicks. Use it as mantra, not as charm. The Lord is my shepherd. Is. Stay until you feel isness shepherding, and then move through the valley, if valley there appears to be. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Shadow, not substance. With me, not someday beside me. And what of enemies? Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of mine enemies. Watch how, without a scuffle, a table appears where battle lines were drawn. Revelation, not repair. Do you see that? And God said unto Moses, I am that I am. Thus shalt thou say, I am hath sent me unto you. Hear it rightly. This is not a slogan for a man to mouth. It is the inner voice authorizing the work. Moses does not invent a name. He consents to the name that speaks. He removes his sandals not because God dislikes shoes, but because dust thinking is not fit for holy ground. So with you, do not hurry to say I am as a technique. Remove the dust of a separate doer, and wait until the bush within burns without consuming, until that I am utters itself as you. Then words carry authority because they are not yours. Do you see that? And if you want a simple doorway when the mind is noisy, let a wise old rabbi help you. Maimonides says God is. Just that God is. Let it still the mind's weather. God is I am, not as a loop, but as recognition. Read a line of text, then translate it into now. Born of spirit, let the wind move. Bread of life, seek substance within. Let form appear. The Lord is my shepherd, abide in is and follow. I am that I am, do not speak until the speaker speaks. Do you see how text becomes a doorway when read as now? Never give up. Never give up. Sit in meditation until you feel that presence. Time means nothing. From the realized presence, Scripture ceases to be a story and becomes self-revelation. And what follows we call healing, though really It is only light where a shadow used to seem. God is, God as is. I am. Do you see that? Now, let us make it very plain how to wait until it clicks. This is not complicated, but it is holy. Enter quietly. Sit in a way the body can forget itself. No heroics, no contortions. Let the breath be unforced, the eyelids soft, the hands easy. Bring attention from the far horizons back into the room, and then into the chest, and then into that inner room of which Jesus speaks. Enter into thy closet and shut thy door. Do you see that? We are not hiding from the world. We are consenting to reality. Begin with the simplest anchor. God is. Whisper it in the heart, not to persuade, but to recognize. God is, I am. Say it 2 or 3 times like stepping stones into a stream, and then drop the stones. Be still and know that I am God. Now listen, not with the outer ear, with awareness itself. Hush becomes the prayer. The mind will offer you errands and headlines. Let them pass like birds over a field. The field does not leap to catch them. It remains. You remain. God is. If a problem rises up and waves its arms, pain, memory, need, refuse the ancient reflex to fix. Do not throw sentences at it. See it as picture, not power. A drawing on your inner screen, not a thing with a life of its own. The old streetcar tracks that seem to meet in the distance do not converge. A cloud on a mountain does not soak the rock. Judge not according to the appearance, but judge righteous judgment. Return to isness. One breath. The Lord is my shepherd. Is. Let it graze through the thought until the picture loosens like mist under sun. Do you see that? Hold also the as remembrance, for it makes the listening clean. God appearing as individual substance, as form. Glass appearing as tumbler, the sun appearing as a beam. You cannot pour orange juice into the idea of glass. You pour into the tumbler, but it is one substance, one identity. So here, do not seek a God outside to visit a man inside. Here is God made manifest as awareness. I and my Father, and here I shall ruin a grammarian, is one. Smile, and then feel it. As and is, let those twins stand watch at the door of thought. Now, the permission moment, you are not manufacturing a signal. You are noticing it. It may feel like a small yes without syllables, a warmth without source, a spaciousness, as if a window opened, though nothing moved. Elijah called it a still small voice. Isaiah named its effect. In quietness and in confidence shall be your strength. When that click is felt, you may proceed, or you may remain. Sometimes the authority is to speak a word or make a call. Sometimes it is to sit 10 more minutes in holy uselessness while worlds are rearranged without your help. If there is no click, do not force a hinge that is not turning. Tarry in Jerusalem until ye be endued with power from on high. Except God be with him, don't try them. Do you see that? Keep a daily cadence. Not long, heroic marathons only, brief, faithful returns. At the sink, in the car, before you answer the phone, one inner bow. God is. Treat each moment as the only minute on earth. Today, if ye will hear his voice, harden not your hearts. Today, this breath, this glance, in this way you fulfill, pray without ceasing, not by words without end, but by recognition without gap. Endure gently. If you feel nothing, sit anyway. If the thoughts yammer, sit anyway. Never give up. Never give up. Time means nothing. Realization means everything. You are not waiting for God to arrive. You are waiting for winds to still enough for the sea to show itself as mirror. Wait on the Lord. Be of good courage, and he shall strengthen thine heart. And when the click comes, move as wind that knows its source. God is, listen, wait, that simple, faithful protocol opens the door without strain. Then what follows we call healing, though truly it is revelation. God is, God as is, I am. Do you see that? Now, you may say it, not as a man flexing, not as a student reciting, but as transparency. After the click, I am is no longer a claim by a person. It is God naming himself as you. Identity no longer stands apart. Borrowing power, identity is the one appearing as this. Do you see that? The voice that said within the bush, I am that I am, now utters itself where you are. And because the speaker is the same, the authority is the same. Before Abraham was, I am. Not past tense, not future tense presence. There is no future tense in truth. Let grammar serve as your little catechism. God is, I am. Notice the order. The am flows from is, effect from cause, expression from essence. Never reverse it. If you begin with am as a human sentence, you pull on your bootstraps and call it prayer. When you begin with is, am appears as witness. Do you see that? When the click is warm and still within, let a few words rise without push. I am the life I hear. I am the light that lights every man that cometh into the world. Not a person boasting light, but light acknowledging its own appearing. It is the spirit that quickeneth. The flesh profiteth nothing. Here is your usage rule, and it will keep you safe. If the warmth fades or strain returns, stop, close the lips, return to silence. Be not rash with thy mouth, and let not thine heart be hasty to utter anything before God. Let the inner hush reset the tongue. Let the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart be acceptable in thy sight. If words begin to tug, if you feel yourself persuading, bargaining, proving, leave the sentence in midair and bow within. God is. Do you see that? The holiness is not in the syllables, it is in the source. Hallow the name by refusing to use it unanointed. Hallowed be thy name. Now, witness. Do not perform. When the click has spoken and I am has been breathed from the realized presence, leave the appearance alone. Let it rearrange itself without your commentary. Stand still and see the salvation of the Lord. The mind will ask for a progress report. It will want a photograph, an applause line. Gently smile at your inner reporter and offer no interview. The Father that dwelleth in me, he doeth the works. If a change shows forth, keep the quiet. The Master often said, tell no man, not because truth fears publicity, but because the human sense rushes to package a miracle and sell tickets. We do not write press releases for God. Do you see that? And this is my charge to you in community. Reserve the holy name. Share only from realized presence, not from enthusiasm. A room can be warmed by a single invisible ember. It can also be smoked out by a bonfire of slogans. Let your fellowship be the hush of Emmanuel more than the noise of methods. Encourage the weary to sit until the click. Remind the eager that permission precedes power. If a brother asks, how do I say it? Answer, wait until it says itself. Out of the abundance of the heart the mouth speaketh. Fill the heart with is. Let him proceed without push. Understand the difference forever. Spoken from realized presence. I am is revelation, God. Recognizing God where you are. Spoken without it, I am, is mere repetition, man attempting to manufacture God. Don't try to do something. Abide in is. Say little, be much. And when it is given, Speak as window, not as wall. You will find that 2 or 3 words in season carry more authority than a page of brave sentences. Sometimes silence itself is the word, and it heals more swiftly than speech. Do you see that? So go in, this simplicity. Begin in is wait for the click, speak only what belongs to the hush. If mid-sentence the warmth thins, stop and return to the center. There is no future tense in truth. Do not postpone by promising tomorrow's dawn. Consent to the light that is. And whether you are sent to say one word, or to place a hand, or to be still beside a bed, let it be Emmanuel doing the doing. Never give up. Never give up. Time means nothing. Realization means everything. God is, God as is, I am. Now, you may say it. Do you see that?